Hey, yappers! This week we dive into Better Late Than Single, a new Korean dating reality show where instead of your normal hot supermodels, we've got eternal singles, people with zero dating experience. With Poonim back in the co-host seat, we discuss Yeo-myung's mean girl moment, crown the ultimate cupid mentor, and settle the most important hypothetical ever. If Hyunkyu or Seung-li were the last men on Earth, who are you choosing? Let's get started. Hello, fellow yappers. I'm Ruchi.
And I'm Shalini, and we're your hosts of Binge, Yap, Repeat.
We're two best friends who spend an embarrassing amount of time binge watching TV, and honestly, we just need to talk about it. If you're here, we're guessing you do too.
Fair warning, this is a spoiler-friendly zone. We will be discussing lots of spoilers. So, if you haven't watched the show yet, hit pause, go binge, and come back when you're ready to yap with us.
And now, it's yap time. Welcome, yappers, to another episode of Binge, Yap, Repeat. This is the repeat part. We have another episode with our guest host, Poonim.
Your favorite convalescing guest host. Glad to be here, Ruchi. Thank you for having me again.
No worries. Not like we had a choice. No, just kidding. Yeah, well, Shalini's still on vacation. Makes sense. It's only been a few days.
It's been like 3 days.
Yeah. Poonim, when was your first relationship? At what age?
Let's see. I was in high school, so let's say 16. Yeah, 16. I want to say sophomore in high school, or is that a junior? Around then, sophomore, junior.
Yeah, I think mine was also 16. Wow, hey, look at us.
Well,
some would call us late bloomers, but you know what we're not? Eternal singles.
Eternal singles.
So today's episode is about Better Late Than Single, which is a new type of Korean reality dating show about eternal singles. The cast is composed of 6 men and 6 women who have never, ever dated before, and they range from ages like 26 to 30-ish. 26 to 31, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They go through a 6-week makeover period where they are paired up with the celebrity Cupid, who acts as their mentor, and then they live together for 9 days in Jeju, where they pursue romance with each other. Shout out to my friend Amy, who told me to watch this show, and then I got super addicted, and then I told Poonim to watch the show, and then Poonim got super addicted, and then told her brother to watch the show.
Shout out to Ruchi for getting me into the show.
Poonim, what did you think about it?
I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I think because it's such a departure from the Western reality dating shows where it's like young, super hot, maybe not, the sharpest crayons in the box, who are there for clout, chasing that influencer life. These just seemed like regular people who have the rest of their life in order and just can't seem to, crack the dating nut scene. And so they came across as very genuine. It was interesting seeing this in a different culture, if there's, differences in, how people approach relationships. Yeah, very, very big. This was a crushable show, Ruchi.
Yes.
I found it very wholesome.
I think it was really sweet because it reminded me of a time before I had a relationship, or like my first relationship. I was like, oh my God, that's true. Because what I really enjoyed is that a lot of them were so book smart about dating. They had like studied dating as much as they could. And I found that aspect so endearing. They were like, oh yeah, I really wanted to go to this haunted house with him because I've heard that if you do something that makes your date's heart race, they'll attribute it to you making their heart race and then they'll
Correlation.
like you. Yeah, and I was like, that's so cute. Like, that's absolutely not how it works. But I also remember reading something like that and being like, oh, this is how I manipulate people into liking me. I just have to put them on a suspension bridge and then place myself in the scope of their vision while they're on this bridge, and then they'll fall in love with me.
And look how far we've come.
And then I did exactly that, and then
Yeah.
that's how Andrew and I are dating. Okay, so in the ending, we had our final two couples. We had Seung-li, the Korean Brazilian guy, and then we had Jisoo, who was kind of like the popular girl throughout most of the series. And then our other couple was Jung-muk, who was the guy who had a twin,
Jiyeon.
So
Yes.
Jiyeon, who is facing a lot of trauma from her abusive father,
Yeah,
probably
childhood. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had those two couples. What did you think about both of them?
I'll start with Jungmuk. I think I'm happy for them, like Jiyeon, to kind of overcome the like traumas she's faced and like
You don't
actually
seem convinced.
get close. But for me, it was like, at what cost? Like the the path to this relationship is littered with the corpses of these like budding relationships with like 4 other women.
Yeah.
So I think that impacted how I viewed him as, as an individual, because I thought from the jump that he showed the most promise and just like the growth. And leading up to the final episodes, when it's just like everything starts to go kind of sideways, it's just like him overthinking it, and we go through all of this drama to arrive at this point. And it's like, okay, for a couple, I think they're very cute. I wish them all the happiness in the world. But my girl, my bubblegum princess, though, justice for her, man.
Yeah. Actually, okay, so just to recap, Yi, though, liked Seung-li, Brazilian Korean guy, from the jump. And then Seung-li was like, no, I'm super into Jisoo. And then she was like, okay. And then Jungmuk liked Yi, though, from the jump. And then they finally got their chance to talk. And then Jungmuk was like, ooh, I super liked you. And then she was like, oh, I liked you as my first impression. And then they started going on dates. And then you could kind of see the light dying in Jungmuk's eyes as they continue to go on dates, where the more that she's into him, the more that he's like, oh, actually, I don't know if I want this. And then he starts turning away from her and starts going towards Jiyeon. And it's like very obvious when he starts looking at Jiyeon differently and they start dating. But I also saw the light kind of dying in his eyes as they started hanging out more together. So they went on this overnight date, right? And then she was being like really clingy with him, and she was like holding his hand and like being like, oh, 사랑해. And then he was like, eh. Like, maybe he said the words back, but definitely his attitude towards her was not as warm as it was when they first started canoodling.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. But I also feel like his personality skews on the like reserved side. So I don't know if that's just like him being him. Because, I'm pretty sure if you went through the show again and counted how many times he smiled with teeth, it would be like 3.
Okay, that's a fair point.
On Jiyeon's side, she was super into somebody else who made it very clear that he wasn't very into her very early on in this like 9-day period. I just kind of felt bad for her because she's just stuck in this villa with like no real kind of love interest leads, just vibing. Like,
yeah.
Going on dates just to hang out with her friends, you know what I mean? And so for her to like find something at the end, I was just like, okay, queen, go off. Love that for you.
She's a girl's girl at the end of the day.
She is a girl's girl, and you could tell how bad she felt because Ito's like her roommate, and like all of this is unfolding right in front of her. It's like the crash of that relationship as hers just takes off.
Yeah.
So,
I have an update.
okay, hit
So,
me, sister.
do you think that Jungmook and Jiyeon are still together?
I'm gonna say no because of the way you asked the question, but I think you're
Okay,
leading the witness.
how long do you think they were together before they broke up?
How long ago was this show?
I think it was about a year ago.
filmed? About a year ago? I would give it a couple of months, maybe like 6 months.
2 months.
That is it. They put us through all of that.
Yeah. Especially because he was like, she's the one for me. I'm gonna marry her. Like, this is it. And I have so much respect for her. And then to only last 2 months after that, I was like, I know it was Jungmook that broke up with Jiyeon.
Oh, for sure. I think out in the real world, he probably realized that he's popular with the ladies, and I don't know if maybe that got to him, but I want to know why. I want to know the impetus for this breakup.
I don't know if
I don't know if that's out, but
yeah, I don't know if either of them said why. So what happened is Jungmook posted on his Instagram that they are not together anymore, and then Jiyeon didn't even mention anything about him in her post on her Instagram, but they don't follow each other on Instagram anymore. But let me see what he said in English and not in Korean. Okay, so he says, as for Jiyeon, with whom I became the final couple on the show, we have since broken up. I hesitated to share this out of fear it might invite even more negative reactions, but I felt it wouldn't be right to hide it from those who love the program. I'm sorry to those who supported us. So he doesn't really talk about why they broke up, but I think what has happened is that a lot of Korea, since the show has aired, had like really negative reactions to Jungmook. And so Jungmook is like, oh, this is hard for me to think about this and understand why, because I've always thought of myself as a decent person, and now now that I'm like getting all of these negative reactions from how I showed up on the show, I am really confused and I'm really sorry, like, about what I did. And so, he just said, I just want to be honest, like, Jiyeon and I are not together anymore, even though I know that it might invite, like, more negative reactions to me. And he ends it with, I will keep reflecting on my shortcomings and strive continuously to become a better person. Please, I ask you not to hate me too much. Yeah. But I will say, like, Korean netizens are honestly brutal.
Yes, I have heard this. Yeah. Like they do. I mean, the internet comment section is already a terrible, terrible place. And then you just kind of add on this layer of insane levels of passion behind everything.
I think they're trying to be like really careful about it. And I mean, yes, I guess like in general, people who watch the show, like, they are real people. Like, don't hate on them
they're
too
like
much.
regular people. Yeah.
And they're regular people who've never been in a relationship before. Like, all of this is new to you. Like, imagine
new territory.
If your like first relationship was broadcast to the world for everyone to see. It would be a shit show, to be honest.
Hard agree. If that happened, they'd be like, these two little weirdos. I don't know about this. I don't know about this.
They'd be like, maybe you should wait like 10 more years before you date.
You know, like coming out of the gremlin middle school years, and it's like, what is that? I don't like that. Don't do that.
Anyway, yeah, so I think there has been a lot of negative backlash on Jungmook, which is kind of sad because I do think the main reason why so many girls liked him is because he was actually a decent human being. Like, he actually did care about the women and asked them things and was interested in them as people. So that's probably the main reason why so many women liked him.
I mean, I don't disagree at all. I feel like what frustrated me about him was when it became clear that it was Ido kind of in the front. And then when that fell apart and he just kind of moved on, there were also like two other women that he just kind of kept like stringing along and being like, "Oh, you still have a chance." You know, like our girl Minhong, I was just like, she's over here, she knows what's up, but like, you told her 8 hours earlier that she's still has a chance. And I'm like, don't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Be honest.
I I was also like really surprised by that because Minhong was just like, "Oh, like he should have at least told me something and about it." And then I was like, "Oh, like isn't it pretty obvious? Like he shouldn't really have to tell you about it." And then they showed the clip of him being like, "Yeah, you're in the running, girl." I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, like he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have promised Yi though that he is still committed to her and is not looking at
I'm
anyone else. Like
saying.
you can have feelings, just like don't lie to people or just like be honest and be like, "Oh, I'm confused." But yeah, I am like paying attention to Jiyeon.
Exactly. And like she has to find out from this other channel that like she's not even second in consideration. She's like third or something. And you know, that hurts. And it's like, okay, I understand that even if we aren't a match, like out of respect for the other person, just be upfront about it, you know? That
Amen,
was
sister.
so that was my frustration with him. I feel like he's probably a normal, regular, nice stand-up person, but when it came to navigating kind of being the center of all these women's interests, I was like, you could have done that a little bit better. Granted, first time, I get it. Could have handled it a little better.
Yeah. Like who handles things perfectly on their first go around? No one.
No one. No one.
And from this we grow.
Yeah, definitely not Jae. I mean, he grew a lot, but there were some hiccups in there.
Oh, Jaeyeon. Is that what it's-
Jaeyoon, Jaeyoon, yeah.
Adorable guy, the first guy that we
Yes,
met. Oh,
yes.
oh, what a
Obsessed with
guy.
him.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Let's talk about the other couple next. There's Seung-li and Jisoo.
Jisoo. Yeah.
What did you think about that couple?
I genuinely thought Jisoo was just going to not choose a guy,
I thought
which
so too.
which in my mind would have been the best choice for her, in my opinion. And obviously, these shows are so heavily edited and cut in a certain way to, you know, kind of steer the narrative or stir up the drama and stuff. But I'm like, from what I saw from Seung-li, I was like, he might be a better fit for like what you're looking for, but it's obvious that there's like parts that like you want somebody dependable and like twice he couldn't remember. Like, you
That
know,
killed me.
that killed me.
Oh my God.
I
I
would
was
have been
like,
so
dump
mad.
his ass right now.
You know? So I was like, listen, I don't think he's a bad guy, but I also don't think he's the most attentive, especially when she comes to him with this, like, I'm being like very serious about why I want somebody that is this way, like dependable. And he just starts making stuff up. I feel like at that point, like, dude, just be like, I'm so sorry. I don't remember. And then don't just pull things from your ass. I don't know. I think that annoyed me more than anything else.
For sure. Yeah. I was so angry that she was so vulnerable about something that she considered quite formative to who she is as a person. And then he was just like, huh? I was like, oh my God. Especially because in that moment, she was like, oh my God, Seung-li, he just took this really huge burden, this huge thing that I've been thinking about. And he was like, yeah, okay, now what? And I just love that. And then it turns out he just wasn't even listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
you could tell me if this is wrong, but he said he's very competitive, and I think he's competitive to a fault. So in my opinion, I feel like he was like, I want to get the girl because I know I'm competing against Hyunkyu. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
You know, but like, does he actually care to like learn about Jisoo and, you know, pay attention, like the bare minimum. Just, I don't know. So that was a couple that I was like, I don't think that this one needed to be like a season finale. We're walking out of the villa together sort of couple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Jisoo got the first relationship out of her system and can go on to date literally anybody else.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I was like, him? Really? When she showed up at the door.
Yeah.
But I was reminded there was another show. I don't know if you ever watched Singles Inferno. Did you ever watch that?
I feel like I watched the first few episodes with you guys, but I never finished, I think, any of the seasons.
Oh, okay. Well, there was an episode, or there was a season of Singles Inferno. So at the end of Singles Inferno, all the women are stationed at random points in the island, and then guys like walk by a girl and then stand by a girl that they want to leave the island with. I don't even know what leaving the island even means. Like, if you leave the island together, like, I don't know if that even materially means anything. Anyway, there is this guy who was like constantly going after this girl, and she was not really into him. And then at the end, obviously, he goes and stands next to her, and then she's like, I guess, and then takes his hand and they leave the island together. And I was just like, can't you just leave alone? Can't you just have a I choose myself moment? And I guess like it was a different format, but in this one they explicitly said this is how you can choose yourself, is you just leave your photo on the table.
Literally, I wrote in my notes that she was surprised that that was even an option, and you could see her considering that, and I was like,
Yeah.
honey, just leave the picture on the table and walk out. Like,
Yeah. I forget who said it, but I remember there's this saying of like, if
I
it's
don't
not a
know.
hell yes, it's a hell no. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to matters of the heart, you have to be so extremely committed to that person because that's the only way that things are going to work out.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
sounded
No,
like
I
her
agree.
response to Seung-li was like, why not?
Yeah, okay. Jisoo says, why not?
Why not? Well, not even that. It was just like a, I guess.
I suppose.
Yeah, it was an I suppose.
Okay.
Anyway, as you can imagine, they are also not together. Well, most likely not together. They're not following each other on Instagram,
Okay.
but they haven't said anything about their relationship, which is
Yeah.
unlike Jungmook and Jiyeon, where Jungmook came out and was like, we broke up." Oh, okay, question. If you're in Jisoo's position,
Yeah.
actually, if you were in Jisoo's position, but way worse, let's say there are only 2 people left in the world. This is the conversation that the Cupids had amongst themselves. If there are
Okay.
2 people left in the world, it was either Hyunkyu, who is, some may say, over-emotional, or Seung-li, who some may say is indifferent. Who would you rather be in a relationship with?
I don't know. Maybe Hyunkyu, because I feel like he's a lot. Like, he's over the top, and maybe he's not matching the pace or the energy level that I need. But he also seems like someone who's just like an open book, and it might be a little bit easier to kind of get to a point where we could find like a middle ground that works for everybody. Um that being said, my brother was just like, oh yeah, this guy's such a hopeless romantic. So I feel like it's somebody who would also like put in the effort. So
Yeah, it's a tough question because I feel like Hyunkyu was overly emotional a little bit, but he also was not a great listener either, you may say. I don't think either of them are great listeners, to be honest,
I
which
don't
is
know.
the problem.
I mean, I would agree. I mean, he did like hold her hostage on that rooftop for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just talking at her.
Yeah. I think if I had to choose, I would choose Hyunkyu, but then I would be so blunt with him. I'd be like,
Yeah.
Hyunkyu, bro, you gotta stop.
Yeah.
You gotta stop right there.
So you're at an 11. I'm gonna need you to bring it down to like a 4.
Minimum.
Minimum.
Oh no,
Maximum.
maximum? There it is, maximum. Maximum. I love how we both did the calculation. We're like, no, that doesn't make sense.
No.
It's got to be less than that.
Quick math. It's wrong. Other one.
Let's talk about the rest of the cast. So
Okay.
the people that we didn't talk about. Let's start with Jaeyeon. What did you think about him?
Oh, my little baby boy. He reminds me of just like so many people that we would have gone to school with who like analyze too much. You know what I mean? But he seems
just
like
a lot of feelings.
He has a lot of feelings, and he doesn't necessarily know how to channel or communicate those in the most productive way. But it's obvious that he learned so much in those like 9 days.
Yes.
I think that he was easily one of the funniest, like unintentionally funniest people on this cast, purely because my dude jumped into the bushes to avoid running into the woman he just bald-faced lied to.
My God.
He just laid in the dirt.
That was crazy. I was like, is this staged? This has to be staged.
And the Cupid said the same exact thing. They're like, there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way that they didn't notice him. God, I'm just thinking about it now. Crazy. But I do feel like Jaeyeon is my pick for most improved. I think he's the
for
one.
Sure.
Yeah, he definitely, from his audition tape to who we saw leave the show.
Yeah.
Such a turnaround.
Yeah. And it was like you could see like as he started to get more comfortable, even not with just the girls, just like the whole cast. Like they're like, oh yeah, this guy's like a charmer. You get a drink in him, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's so comfortable.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, like clearly it's like it takes time for him to like kind of warm up and kind of suss out the relationships, but he chill dude. Yeah.
I think my favorite scene was between Jaeyeon and Jisoo, where Jaeyeon was like, oh my God, this crazy thing happened. And then Yeo-myung told Minhong about what I said to her. And now I just feel like I need to clarify things because I told her a lie. And then Jisoo was like, okay, what have you got so far? You know what? No, scratch that. Delete everything. We're going to start again. And then he's like, okay, Yeo-myung, saranghae. I started laughing so hard. I was like,
laughing. This guy's got the jokes.
He's got the jokes. He's got a sense of humor.
He's got the jokes. My favorite part of that interaction, I think it was Hyunkyu that was also sitting there, and he was just like, I told her this lie that I wasn't interested in her, and he was like, why would you do that? Yeah.
Literally, why?
Why would you do that?
Okay, actually, speaking of that moment between Jaeyeon and Yeo-myung, do you think Yeo-myung was in the wrong? Do you think she was having a mean girl moment, or was her reaction justified?
I don't think anyone was in the wrong. I think this was just like heap loads of miscommunication, and on, Jaeyoon's side, like, obviously not being very honest. But if I were her, and granted, it didn't seem like she had any feelings for him, so maybe that makes it a little bit easier. But if she did, can you imagine the absolute whiplash that would be of having this guy just being like, hey, I have feelings for you, you were my pick, and then like 6 hours later being like, LOL, psych, and then the next morning being like, oh my God, I felt so bad, I lied to you. I would be like, this man is unstable. This is an unstable human being.
I think that was her take, to be honest.
Yeah. So like, I don't think she's in the wrong. I think Jade's obviously still learning about all of this, and it's like he got the most payoff in all of his interactions when he was honest. And I feel like that was the lesson that I hope he took away from this, because he's over here doing all this mental gymnastics, trying to like spare her feelings and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, brother, we didn't have to do any of this. We didn't have to do any of this.
Yeah. I saw some reel that was saying that Yeom-myung was a mean girl for doing what she did, where after he was like, "Oh, actually, just kidding. I don't like you, not even a little bit." And then she was like, "What the, like, why would you tell me that?" And then she immediately went to Minhong and then started laughing about it with Minhong. I think people online were like, "Oh my God,
Oh,
she's
I
so
see.
mean. Like, why would she do that, especially
I
in
didn't
front of
take it
him?"
that way. To be honest, I think she was so taken aback. And like, granted, if it were any of us and any of our friends who were in a similar situation, we would immediately be like, "Oh my God, you won't believe what just happened." And I think for her, like processing all of that was just like maniacal laughing, 'cause she was just like, "What the fuck?"
Yes.
So like, I don't think I got Mean Girl vibes, but
Yeah.
I could see how it would come off like, why is she laughing so hard? But I think she was also just like, okay, rude. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
I totally agree. And I think the most important thing to note is that this is everyone's first relationship.
Exactly.
No one has dated anyone before except for that random guy who dated someone for 100 days.
Who
But
got like no screen time. We
oh, yeah.
never saw the doctor.
Oh my God. I mean, okay, we should get into him later, but
Okay.
I guess like to wrap this up, yeah, I agree. I don't think it was a mean girl
I
moment.
don't think so.
I feel like she was just like, "What the hell just happened? I need someone to unpack this with
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Like,
Grab
am
the
I
nearest
crazy?
person."
Like,
Yeah. What is this? What do I do? Yeah,
yeah.
so I agree. I don't think it was a mean girl moment. I mean, could she have handled it better? Yes. Could he have handled it better? Yes.
Hell
But
yes.
I don't think either of them are to blame for that
Y-
situation.
Yeah. I think he got a little bit too in his head, didn't know how to like communicate what he was actually trying to communicate, which was like, I don't want to put any pressure on you,
Yeah.
but like, I do like you a lot, sort of thing. And like,
Yeah.
I know you're interested in someone else, but I just wanted to say my piece. And like, you could just leave it at that. But
Yeah.
my dude's over here trying to like social engineer this other woman's relation. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, great. See. Okay, do you want do you want to talk about the game changer? Though I'm not sure there's much to talk about. So this is Sung Chan. I had to look up his name because I literally forgot what his name was. Because after
They
the intro, they didn't talk about him at all.
at all. And you didn't see any of his dates. Like, I don't even know if he knew what he was doing there. By day 5, I'd be like, so, can I go home?
Yeah,
Um,
I was trying to find out if there was any drama or any story around why they weren't focusing on him at all, but
I mean, even the woman game changer, what's her name?
Miji.
Miji, the Japanese teacher. They gave her the briefest of introductions, and the next time we saw her was basically the finale.
Yeah, and then Sangho was like, "Oh my God, Miji is so cute. I think she's my number one choice." The next day, um, Jisoo.
Jisoo. I was
I
like,
was like, "What?" And then
Where did
Miji
that
was
come
never heard
from?
of ever again.
I know. So I was like, because I thought when they introduced these people on like, what was it, night 2 or something, and then when he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a doctor," and then Hyunkyu, the med student, was like, "He's a doctor. How am I supposed to compete with that?" I was like, "Oh, this is gonna get good," you know. But
And then immediately crushes him in screen time.
does nothing. Like, yes, queen, give us nothing.
Yeah. I was talking to someone, I think it was Amy. Amy was saying that it's apparently because Sungchan is kind of short and that's why he wasn't very popular. But I was
Okay.
like, he a doctor though. He is short king. They're having a moment.
Yeah, like he's not even in school anymore.
I
Like,
know. And he's a surgeon, not just a
he's
doctor.
yeah. And I'm like, he's a little older. He's got a whole 100 days of dating under his belt.
Yeah. Wait, I laughed so hard at the Cupids being like, this guy's basically a player with how much experience he's had.
You're like, what is he even doing here?
And then even he was laughing because he was like, this is crazy because yes, I've had 100 days of experience. That's less than 1% of my life, you guys. And they're all like, whoa, 100 days. That's such a long time. And he's like, this is the only world that I can be in where people are like, whoa, 100 days. That's a long time.
Crazy. They're like, oh my God, this hussy over here.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, who haven't we talked about?
We didn't really talk about Sung-ho, which I would love to talk about because I thought he was by far one of the funniest, along with Jaeyoon, people on this show.
Sung-ho is comic relief, honestly.
So good. Everything was just like about the food, and that at the end of the season when they're like, oh, like what was your favorite part of this experience? And he said the dinners.
Sung-ho! If Jaeyoon was the most improved, Sung-ho was the least improved.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
He even went back to wearing the character t-shirts.
Yeah. And like the first date that he had, I don't remember who he had the first date with. He's so stressed about like driving, and she's just like, oh yeah, you were my pick. And he was like, so do I need to turn up here or what?
Yeah. The most popular girl on this island is picked you, bro.
Yeah, like no ambiguity. She was upfront with it. And he gave her nothing. He gave her nothing.
Jisoo really reminds me of basically every woman. It's like every woman, especially our age, just so put together, graceful, gorgeous, competent, smart,
like
and
knows
her
what
options,
she wants.
And knows what she wants, and these are her options. And then people are like, oh, why aren't you dating anyone? It's like, because my options are Sung-ho, Hyunkyu, and Seung-li. Someone who thinks about food, someone who thinks too much, and someone who thinks too little.
Too little. They think, but God, at what cost?
It's too much. It's too much, man.
And then the date where he was like waiting for one of the girls and then no one ended up coming, and he ordered like the whole seafood platter and the soup, and we just see this guy chowing down, and at one point he has like the lettuce wrap thing, and it almost looks like he knows this, like he is aware that he's being filmed, and you can see him like kind of smiling himself as he's eating.
Yeah, even the cupids were like, even he knows he's laughing.
Even he knows.
To be honest, though, I think that's absolutely what I would do. If I were on a date at a bar and no one showed up, I'd be like, self-date time, let's go.
Hard agree. I was just like, I cannot believe that this is the brand he's like carved out for himself. After they said that he lost basically like 45 pounds, I think, which is insane.
Okay, we talked about most improved and least improved on the guy side, but who do you think was most improved and least improved on the women's side? So the women were Jisoo, Yeo-myung, Min-hong, Yi-do, Ji-yeon, and Miji.
Well, Miji I'm not even going to include because after that date with Sung-ho, we just never saw her again.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, like blink twice if you're in trouble, queen, because I don't know what you're doing there either. To be honest, it's hard to say like improved because I thought the girls were all like fine. Like it wasn't necessarily like oh, I don't know how to talk to guys or like, you know, I'm socially awkward or anything. They were just like, you know, I was perfectly fine in my girls' school and girls' university, and it wasn't until all of my girlfriends got partners that I was like, ah, shit. Guess I should too.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how a lot of the girls were just like, well, I never thought about dating until all my friends started dating. And then I was like, oh no, I'm seventh wheeling.
And yeah, Jiyeon getting close to someone after, you know, basically overcoming her like traumatic upbringing and allowing herself to trust like another person, and that other person being a guy and getting that close with someone. I would say like, yeah, maybe most improved, least improved. I don't know if you could even say. I will say I think they all learned something about themselves in the process, which is good. I think Minhong was just there to drop bars on people, like the advice,
Minhong
font of wisdom.
she slid right into that Uni role
I know.
immediately.
She really did. I was just like, honestly, her, no notes.
Yeah. I feel like
You'll be
Minhong
fine.
and Jisoo gave the best advice.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And then, I thought she was just so cute and just such like a bubbly person. And it was crushing to see her so sad, and frustrated. But I'm like, I feel like all of these women will be fine.
I think
Like,
so too.
I mean, um, besides Jisoo, I don't think anybody settled.
Well, it's okay. They're not together.
They're not together anymore.
Unclear if they even started dating. So,
I mean, every other couple was just like, oh, when we go back to the normal world, like, we can meet up in Seoul, or like, is this too far from your university? Or like, I will come to your school, blah, 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 blah. I feel like there was none of that for them. So I don't know.
yeah.
What was this relationship based on? Vibes?
Oh my gosh. Another reason why I didn't really like how Jungwook treated Yi though is because he really set her expectations so high, being
So
like, oh, I'm
high.
gonna come visit you, I'm gonna do this, do that. He basically love bombed her.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. Which I think maybe that's just his style, because he kind of turned around and did the same thing to Ji-yeon. So,
Yeah. So we talked about the cast a lot, but
mhm.
who do you think was the best Cupid?
Oh my God.
So to remind you, the Cupids
Yes.
were So In-guk, who was the guy with the glasses and he wore a suit
Okay.
every time.
Yeah, yeah.
Kang Hana, the woman who was more of the soft-spoken woman.
Oh, I see.
And then Lee Eun-ji, she was the one who laughed really loudly and was
Yeah.
engaging a lot, and she constantly stood up.
Yeah.
That was Lee Eun-ji. And then the last one is Car the Garden.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Actually, update since you asked me this. I believe your question was, what the fuck kind of name is Car the Garden? So
Yeah.
I did research this. Apparently his name is actually Cha Jung-won, and he's known professionally as Car the Garden because it's a literal translation of Cha Jung-won, because Cha sounds like car in Korean, ka cha, and then Jung-won means garden. So
I
it's Car the
see.
Garden.
Because in the subtitles, it would be like car and then whatever he said. And I was like, sorry, am I having a stroke right now?
Yeah, I also was like, huh?
Huh? I think out of the Cupids, Yeonji and Car the Garden were my favorite, because you could see when a cute moment was about to happen, those two would be like, kiss, or hold her hand, and they get up and just walk around. I feel like they got super into it. And then I think it was Yoonji who was just like, there is a whole pool there and nobody's using the pool. That's a waste of water. I just burst out laughing. And then when they finally had the pool party, she was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, they were my favorite, but I feel like Car the Garden, I think, was the worst Cupid.
Oh, worse? From a mentor perspective?
From a mentor perspective,
His
yeah.
advice was whack.
So bad. Because I feel like he's really funny, but I think even he underestimated how little experience people had.
Yeah.
So his focus was more on how do you get the girl within the context of the show, and not necessarily how do you improve yourself so that you can set yourself up for future success at dating and relationships in general. Yeah. I think he really missed the boat on that.
I think so. I would agree. Because some of his advice, especially to Sung-ho, I was like, no, don't do that. Please don't do that. I watched the first episode with Jamie, and she was like, I don't think he gives good advice at Oh,
I
how
don't
did
think
he
so.
land this job?
I really don't think so. Yeah, I feel like they needed the Queer Eye guys, and they got 2 Queer Eye guys, maybe 3 Queer Eye guys if we're being generous, and Car the Garden.
And guard the garden. Accurate. That's very accurate.
Even the advice that he gave Seung-li, he was like, if someone's talking to your girl, you can just like kick a soccer ball to him and distract his attention. And then he literally did that. I was like,
He literally did that.
oh my God, use your words, please.
Cannot.
But yeah, who do
Cannot.
you think was the best mentor? Who had the best advice?
I don't remember exactly all of the advice that was handed out at the beginning, but I think in terms of like observations or being able to kind of um maybe guess at what people's motivations, like maybe Hana or what was the first guy in Gook?
In Gook.
Yeah, I feel like they were a little bit more like intuitive. They were less comic relief and more like, oh, he must have said this because insert what they thought. They'd be like, oh yeah, like that's a good point. Like, so
sure.
a little bit more dialed into the brief.
Yeah, I think Kang Hana was most insightful,
Yeah.
but I don't really remember the advice that she gave as a mentor. I think I remembered more of Unji's advice,
Yeah.
where she was very honest with Yi-do, and she was
Yeah.
very honest with, I think, Min-hong as well, right? Was her mentee?
Was it Minhong? Yeah. I think
Oh,
so.
maybe not. Maybe it was Jiyeon, because they each had one in the final
Yeah.
4 people. So Inguk
Oh, I
had
see.
Jungmuk, Car the Garden had Seung-li, Kang Hana. I don't remember who she had. I don't remember if she had Jisoo or Ji-yeon. Kang Hana had Min-hong, and Kang Hana also had Jisoo.
I'm gonna add Jisoo. Okay. Okay.
I think Kang Hana was Jisoo, and then Unji was Jiyeon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I forget how we got here. Anyway. Great. Okay, out of the 6 men and 6 women, who do you think would actually be the best couple?
Okay, let me think.
It can be same-sex couples, too.
Oh, Minhong with anyone. To be honest, the guys didn't really impress me all that much, minus the doctor, because we barely got to see him. So maybe there was some potential there. Who knows? Yeah. The guys, I don't know. I feel like Jaeyoon and maybe like one of the more awkward. I guess there wasn't really an awkward girl. Basically, I think any of the girls could pair up and they would do just fine together.
Yeah. I feel like Minhong was such a good communicator. Jisoo is also such a good communicator. Jisoo and
Yeah.
Minhong would be a fun couple.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a guy for Minhong,
I don't know, dude. None of them.
none of them.
None of these guys for sure. I honestly think Ito could get along with any of these guys just because of like who she is, but I don't think that any of them would be a good match for her.
Yeah. I did really like Minhong and Jaeyeon's couple relationship.
Yeah, they were so like she was like, you could come to me anytime you want to talk, and then our code word's gonna be like, can I get a towel?
Yeah,
and then he was like, can I get a rag?
Yeah.
She's like, rag? Towel?
Oh, towel. Oh, okay, let's go. Let's
Towel.
go.
Towel. She's like, all right, come on.
Bless her for not laughing in that moment.
I know. Honestly, in my notes, I put Minhong, realest bitch on campus. Like, love her.
Yeah, she's great.
It's more of like an observation that when the girls would be on a date and they weren't getting the vibe that they were hoping to get from like someone that they're interested in, I feel like their default was always to blame themselves. And I was like, no, please, it's not you.
Yeah.
It's literally Sung-ho thinking about literally anything else but you.
But if you think back to it, that is how I feel like women are raised. Maybe not now, but I think that's definitely how our generation was raised, where it's like your goal is to be chosen.
Yes.
And if someone didn't choose you, that's a you problem.
Exactly. Yeah. But it made me a little sad. Like when Yido was just like, what did I do? And I was like, oh, honey, this wasn't you. This was this guy, like, just flipping practically overnight.
Yeah. Ugh,
So,
what a shame.
yeah.
Um, oh, another comment is that there's like this cultural aspect as well where
Mm-hmm.
Jungmook and Jiyeon go on their overnight date, and then she was saying that, oh, in other countries, Koreans start dating and then they immediately say I love you as soon as they
Right.
start dating, or they say I love you as a confession
Mm-hmm.
to then start dating. Um, and then she's like, yeah, other cultures do this differently. So I thought that was interesting.
That was interesting. Yeah, like I wouldn't have known that without watching, I think, a show like this. Because, yeah, in Western culture, you say that's like immediate red flag.
Yeah, if you're not dating and you say I love you to someone, you're like, whoa.
Or even like 6 days into dating and you drop that bomb is just like, bro, you don't even know me. Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean?
How long did it take you to say I love you?
Let's see, 10 months? It was
Whoa.
close to a year, I think, after being
Whoa.
together. Yeah.
I think it took us a month to
Okay.
say it. But it was a month into dating and we had known each other for so long.
Yeah,
So
you guys had known each other. Let's see. Oh my god. Sung-ho with the movie night. They were like, it's like he made this into his living room and he's just like this eating popcorn.
Sungho got too comfortable.
Yeah, I'm way too comfortable. My
Okay,
dude was just there for the meal plan, I swear to God.
yeah. Well, even that went out the window. You just started
I
eating
know.
everything.
I know.
It reminded me of that show. I think you should leave.
Leave?
What is it?
Yeah.
I think you should leave. Where they do that dating skit and he's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think you're just here for the zip line. It's just Sungho. Like, I think you're just here for the free food.
That is literally him. Like, I don't think again, heavily edited, but I don't think they ever showed him like trying to go up to a person of interest and like strike up a conversation. My dude was straight up just like, yeah, I sat in this corner next to so and so because I was hot and there's a fan right here.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't
Zero
realize
thoughts.
you also had the juice, you
Oh
know?
my God. Zero thoughts. Oh, women. Oh, straight women. You know, one thing that I really wish that they had done is I wish that the Cupids could go and meet with them at a halfway point.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you know if the Cupids get to interact with their like mentees throughout the week? Because the first night they were sent a note.
Yeah.
The Cupid sent a note. But then after that, it wasn't clear. And it to me it seemed like some of the guys would have like overnight revelations. And I was like, well, they didn't show necessarily any conversation between like them and another villager where they come to this conclusion. So I was like, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't think the Cupids interacted with them.
Yeah.
I think it's because the Cupids were also the commentators. So
Right.
as a result, they couldn't interact with them in real time because then they wouldn't have authentic reactions to when they watched
Reactions.
it
That
back.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I really wish there was an opportunity for them to go and chat with them at the halfway point to be like, look, I saw the footage. Stop kicking soccer balls at people if they're talking to your girl. Like, don't do that. And
Yeah.
I hope that there was like that remediation moment, but then we never got that and people just kind of kept going on their path.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
if there were another season, I would want them to do that.
Or like, I mean, because I guess it was like the mentors just like maybe met with them a handful of times and then kind of handed them off to a professional.
Yeah.
So like maybe if they had access to like the professional that they were like working with the closest so that the mentees could still have authentic reactions, but like they could have a little bit of like guidance and support. I don't know.
Yeah, but they definitely needed something at
Yeah.
some point during their journey.
Yeah, I think a midpoint check-in would have been great. Like,
Quarterly reviews.
yeah. Sung-ho, my dude.
You gotta stop eating.
You have to stop eating.
I mean, it's okay to eat, but like, don't like eat.
It's like you're You're so interested in the food, you forget that there's a date sitting across from you.
Yeah. Should we rate?
Yeah, let's do it.
Quality, enjoyment out of 5. And then we'll add them up together for the final ranking.
I would say 5 on both of those, but then the show would be a 10, and I'm hesitant to give anything a 10. So maybe like a 4.5, 4.5. So it's like a 9.
Wow. I think I would do 4 for quality. No. 3 for quality? Maybe I'll do 4 for quality. 4 for
Okay.
quality, 5 for enjoyment.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Me too. Me too.
I felt like it has been a while since I've watched a show and been like, I need to keep watching. Screw my bedtime.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Aw, yay. Well, thanks for yapping about Better Late Than Single. And now it's time for our segment at the end of the episode where we talk about our binge in progress. So things that we're watching or consuming outside of the show that we just discussed.
I just started a new book called Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. I have this right in front of the camera.
Nice.
This is me making use of my convalescing downtime to get out of a reading slump I am in. And I've heard that this is a great duology. So I think that is a good way to ease myself back into it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't really been watching anything, but I have started another book nook. This is an Anavrin book nook, and it is like little pieces of Kyoto. So the scene is Kyoto.
Oh, that's gonna be so pretty.
I'm very excited.
How far have you gotten?
I've done like a couple different scenes, but this one has about twice the number of pieces as the last one.
Oh, okay.
So a lot more intricate. There are stickers and wax paper and other things. So it's like a lot.
Oh,
and like little,
interesting.
Yeah, little bits and baubles that you just glue on, like little plastic bowls, like little miniature bowls. They're so cute.
Oh, I love it. So intricate.
I made a little ramen stand.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yay. All right, well, thanks for yapping with us.
Thanks for having me to yap with.
Yeah, better late than single.
Better yapping, the better binging than yapping. Am I right?
This is better.
Thanks for yapping with us. If you loved this episode, have some hot takes we missed, or if you've got a show you're dying for us to binge next, follow us on socials. We're at Binge Yap Repeat.
Until next time, happy binging!